Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the realm of bizarre news. I'm your host, Dr. Franklin Ruehl, and we start off with conspiracy theories concerning the deaths of two multimillionaires. First, Kenneth Lay, the man involved in the Enron scandal, who, on October 23rd, 2006, was facing a 10-year jail sentence. But he supposedly died on July 5th of that year up in Aspen, Colorado. Now, if he had dropped dead in Houston, perhaps in the courtroom or on the street, we wouldn't be suspicious. But he was up in Aspen, where a body could have been substituted. The day before his death, Colin Powell was up there, possibly delivering passports and other papers he needed. He certainly had the money and the connections to escape America. For example, President Bush was a friend who called him Kenny Boy. As far as Steve Fossett goes, the motivation isn't as clear, but he might have been facing financial problems, also involved in a divorce. Most suspicious about his case was that a year after his plane was found crashed in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, his ID and money found nearby as though it was planted, so we would know who was supposedly in that plane. It's amazing that that would have remained intact over a year, considering weather conditions and animals, but that was the suspicious point. Why was that ID found so close to the plane? The body hasn't been recovered yet because of weather conditions. It will not be secured until the beginning of 2009. Now, his case is more complex. We don't know about the motivation or the means, but here's one scenario. He took off in his own plane alone, then landed at a rendezvous point where henchmen then added a cadaver. He took off again and parachuted out just before he directed the plane into a mountain to crash. And his henchmen met him again at a rendezvous point, either in a plane or vehicle, and took him to safety, and he's now out of the country. Now, a very important question has to be addressed. Where would these multimillionaires secure a cadaver? Well, it has been reported that at the Los Angeles coroner's office, in the corridors there, they have over 100 bodies of unidentified homeless people. They don't know what to do with it. And this situation probably prevails in other major cities. So henchmen could come in, find a body that was approximately the same size, and if they have to bribe anyone, no problem. Money talks. Now, is this possible? I think the credibility coefficient for the case of Kenneth Lay, considering his powerful motivation and the fact that he was up in Aspen, away from the prevailing trends, 65%. As far as Steve Fossett, where we're not certain about the motivation and where it would have been a more complex scenario involving a plane crash, I would say 30%. But I certainly believe it's within the realm of feasibility that one or both of these multimillionaires is still alive today. Yes. Now let's open up the vault of strange deaths. What do we have? A trivia question. How many individuals leapt to their deaths from Wall Street buildings during the Great Depression in 1929? Was that 2, 21, 203, or 1,246? And you say 2, you're absolutely right. It's a myth that people were jumping left and right from the Wall Street buildings. Only 2 documented cases. There were 2 other jumps to deaths outside of Wall Street, and then 2 other possible suicides of Wall Street executives, one by gas, one by a bullet. Now, comedians such as Eddie Cantor and Will Rogers played up these deaths and made it sound like there were hundreds or even thousands of people doing it, but only 2 documented cases from Wall Street. And interestingly, they've just reported that off the Golden Gate Bridge, they're going to install a $50 million metal net to prevent people from committing suicide there. How about that? Now, let's go to Taiwan and the case of a snake in the town of Nantuan. Firemen found it and placed it in a cage, about 1.5 feet long. They wanted to feed it. They found a little mouse and put it in the cage for the snake to eat. But the mouse was a fighter. And for an hour and a half, they had a battle. And finally, the mouse killed the snake. Yes, the mouse prevailed over the snake. He didn't want to die. He didn't want to eat the snake. He just wanted to live. And for the record, as I've mentioned before, mice don't like cheese. They like grain. And again, they will fight for their lives as demonstrated by this case. Congratulations to mouse power. Now, until next time, may the power of the cosmos be with you. Yes, yes, yes. Mouse power prevails. Yes.